actually giving away an Usyk signed glove. Jump onto the Boxing King Media Instagram page. You'll see a post with the thumbnail of Johnny Nelson and Dominic Ingle pinned to the top. Just click on that post, the instructions on how to get yourself in the draw are on there. There's only about 100 people in the draw at the minute, so you got a good chance of winning. Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Carl Frampton. Carl, you know, when I think of you, and the first thing comes to my mind is the guy that was trying to split up Boazzi and Willie Hutchinson from caving each other. What were you going to do in that situation?
Trying to split it up. There was big men in that room, and they split it up. I was just in the background, and I have a lot of respect for both boys, and I know both of them quite well. Willie probably a little bit better than Josh, but I just thought, oh, don't be fighting, lads. You're gonna, leave it for a few weeks. You'll get paid for it rather than doing it for free here.
Definitely so. And before we talk about the fight, I was just asking you off camera, how are you finding it as a fighter? Like, and you conquered everything in boxing, elite amateur, world champion, done everything in big fights, and now you're sat there interviewing boxers. I'm just curious to know from your mindset, what's it like doing all that?
I feel lucky, mate. Honestly, I feel blessed. People say that. I feel privileged and in a good position. I love this sport and I owe it so much, and I've done all the hard work in boxing, which is the fighting, but this is the easiest job in boxing. I get to travel around the world. I get to be involved in some big events. I get to meet and see and speak to some big names, and I get paid for it. It's all right. You know what I mean? Life's good.
And so I'm curious, you've obviously put a bit of muscle on. How heavy are you?
I haven't put any muscle on. I've actually lost muscle.
So if you were fighting, what weight would you
You're
be?
about the third person that said to me I'm looking good today.
Yeah.
But I think this top must make me look good because I'm softer than I used to be. I very rarely train. Very rarely train. I sometimes in the mornings I do a few press ups and before bed, but not all the time. Every now and again. I do very little. I just don't eat as much as I used to. Used to be a greedy fucker when I was training. Obviously training all the time and you'd be hungry. You have to fuel your body, but I eat like a teenage girl now. Once a day, twice a day max.
Interesting. Carl Frampton eats like a teen. I might even title a video of that. They'll be thinking, what's he on about? Let's talk about the fights, Carl. I will start with the main event. AJ Dubois. I was watching the face-off on the way down. There was like a couple of things I picked up. One of the biggest things was AJ calling Dubois a little boy. I think he said to Frank, "Tell your little boy, don't disrespect me." What do you think? When he's saying that, what do you think he's trying to like imply or put across to him?
I think he's just trying to stamp the authority on it before the fight even kicks off. And I mean, that's you can understand that. Obviously, AJ has been the guy in the big picture, been around some big fights and been involved in massive fights and has been the face of British boxing for quite a long time. So Dubois being the younger guy, you can't really say Dubois is a young prospect, and he's far from it. He's a very, very good fighter, a very dangerous fighter as well. But AJ is just a more experienced guy who's been around a bit longer, and I think he was just trying to put him in his place, but maybe not in the most pleasant way.
And you're going to be doing this a million times this week, so you don't need to do a long one. But what's the outcome on that fight?
I can see it going both ways. People are talking. I'm speaking to some credible boxing fans and voices who believe that Dubois will win. I don't think that would surprise me if it happens, but I haven't really changed my mind on AJ winning. I think that I love what Dubois has been doing recently. I love the resilience and the toughness he's been showing. But I still just think he gets hit a little bit too clean, and AJ punches too hard to be allowed for someone to allow him to hit him that clean. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm still favouring AJ, but the longer the fight goes on, I think the more chance Dubois has. He's a massive set of balls, and we've seen that in his last few fights against Miller and Hrgovic, where he soaked up some punishment and gritted it out and done it. But I think the longer the fight goes on, the more of a chance he has. But in saying that, if this fight sees round 7, I'd be very surprised.
I'll ask for your opinion on this and also see if you've any personal experience of this. I spoke to Franklin Ignatius, who's fighting Jamie TKV. He sparred Dubois a few weeks ago, and I asked him, and I've never come across this before, where the sparring partners pick the other side. And he kind of said that Dubois takes too many punches, and I think AJ will stop him. Have you ever had any personal experience where sparring partners picked against the other side in an interview, and what do you make of him saying that?
I don't think so. That's strange, isn't it? Actually, if you've employed someone in the sparring, it's nice. The honesty is refreshing, isn't it? But it's interesting that the sparring partner has said that. I wonder, has he sparred AJ as well? This guy?
I don't think so.
That's interesting. Really interesting. But look, they're all opinions. No one really knows what's going to happen, and we'll see on the night. You know, if Dubois can cause the upset and do what a lot of people don't think he can do, but there is people that believe that he can win this fight, then he becomes an overnight superstar, if he isn't already. And AJ wins the fight against Dubois at Wembley. Another box ticked off and one step closer to a trilogy fight with Usyk or a fight with Tyson Fury.
Indeed, definitely so. The undercard, which is the fight that you're looking forward to the most?
Josh Warrington and Anto Kakachi. I have a great relationship with both guys, and obviously the former opponent of Josh, but Anto's a good friend of mine. I would call Josh a friend, but Anto's a close friend. But that's a fight that I'm really interested in.
Josh, it's interesting because when you fought him, and this has been the kind of pattern in Josh's career, even his losses, he's been ahead on a lot of the cards in most of them fights, and he's a really hard guy. It's hard to win rounds against, and you've got personal experience of that. What makes him so hard to win rounds against?
He's really, what surprised me was his punching power. I've said this hundreds of times, but I didn't think he could punch, and I've never been hit that hard in my life in a ring. Genuinely, I
think he had one knockout till he had his first breakout fight.
Yeah, he had when he'd fought me, I think he had 30 wins on his record and only, I think 5, 6, something like that. So I was expecting him to be bouncing off my head, and I knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I just didn't think he could punch that hard. But I got that wrong. But he's gritty as well. He's more than that. He's very dogged. He throws a lot. He's got fast hands. His style isn't the typical style. It's not like neat and tidy. A lot of times it's relentless. But I think something that goes under the radar with Josh is his dad in his corner. I think tactically he's actually very good, and maybe he's a bit of a joker, isn't he, Sean? And I think that he maybe just doesn't get the credit that he deserves as a coach. But I think he's a really good coach. But Anto Kakachi having Mickey Hawkins in his corner, I think, is very important. Anto's you could describe Anto as a bit of a loose cannon, if you want to, a bit of a hot head at time, and I think just having Mickey in there just calms the situation down, and someone that he listened to a lot, and I think it's good for Anto.
Who wins?
Anto Kakachi.
I'm going to just fly through some quick predictions from you. Hutchinson, Boatsi.
It's a really good fight, honestly. I think that's the hardest one for me to call on the card. A lot of people favour him, Buatsi, and I can see why he's the favourite. I just think there's something about Willie Hutchinson. He's got this a confidence about him. Put a gun to my head, I would say Willie, but I've literally no idea.
The interesting one, Ishmael Davies, Josh Kelly's taken that at 6 days' notice. I'm guessing you've never had to take a fight at 6 days' notice yourself, so I don't know. But I do know from personal experience speaking to him, he's in the gym all the time. He doesn't take time off.
I just spoke to him. He says he's sparring 8 rounds, 10 rounds on the regular. So he doesn't really have camps as such. He just trains all year round, which is what a professional fighter should do. We are professional athletes. That is what you should do. I didn't do it, but I should have done it. So it's nice to see that. It's refreshing. He already had a fight penciled in, I think, for maybe 5 weeks after this one. So whatever, he's going to be in reasonable shape. But he looks the part, and we're looking at him getting photographs over there, and he doesn't look like a guy that's just had a fight. Told about a fight 2 days ago. So that's a really interesting fight, and I think he's a pressure fighter, but he can box as well at times. I think all the pressure's on Josh Kelly in this one, just because you've got a standing opponent. A lot of people don't know who Ishmael is. This is giving him a chance to kind of showcase his talents, but I think the pressure's on Josh for this one. But I suppose he's had a long time to prepare this, and you've got to say he's the favourite.
Definitely. Last fight I want you to call for me or give me a bit of an idea. O'Hara Davies, Adam Azim. How'd you see that fight going? Nobody saw that fight coming up, and it's obviously just been made.
No one saw it coming up. It's a good fight. I'm not quite sure what happened to the Harlem Eubank fight. It's obviously fell through. It was a fight that I was looking forward to, but
Is this a harder fight?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Look, I have a lot of time for O'Hara Davies, and he's a tough guy, and I think he's a bit of a character. And obviously, we've seen the T-shirt and stuff he was wearing at the press conference. But I think there's a favourite in that fight, and it has to be Adam Azim.
Carl Frampton, as always, anything else you want to say before I let you go?
What's that?
Anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Not a thing. Just want to go to bed, man.
What do you do at home, now that you're retired? I'm just curious. Anything different you can share with your fans?
Nothing I can share. I'll share with you off camera later on, but no.
I think I know.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I literally, I don't do
Netflix.
anything. I'll tell you what I do. I've got roped into coaching my little girls under 15 football team.
All right. Couldn't imagine you being football
Going
coach.
all right. I want to put an advert out. We need a keeper.
Okay.
So any girls born in and around the Greater Belfast area in 2010 that can do nets, we desperately need. We have a solid wee team, all the outfield, very good wee set of players, a few skillful ones, a few bruisers, but we need a keeper. Fucking need a keeper.
Right. Can we get Carl Frampton a keeper for his girls football team? Under 15s
Greater
girls.
Belfast area, please come.
Thank you very much, Carl Frampton.